Happy Friday, Vault fam. It's the 30th of May. Welcome inside the Vault for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. We're closing down the month of May. We're closing down another week. I'm Bobby Trossett. She's Sarah Ellison. So good to be back with you guys on the way in. If you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily live content. I think so far so good to potentially reach 350 channel members today. Yo-Jitsu pre-show dropped in a 5 membership donation, a gift. So 5 different Voltrons brings us to 331 total channel members. It's just been an awesome community that seemingly is growing, Sarah, by the day. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour. We appreciate you guys for being here. Mina Kimes has some thoughts, really kind of crushes a narrative regarding Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Marlon Humphrey, Ravens corner, responded after sparking. It seemed as if it was unintentional, but it certainly sparked some outrage online within the Bengals community based on a tweet of his. Stop us if you've heard that before, based on his Twitter activity over the years. Some surprising Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley comparisons, and a number of other things, including one more thing. And Park Heights Profit just matched Yo-Jitsu's gift. So we already have 10 channel memberships that have been divvied up so far today. It's great to see you. Happy Friday, partner. How are you?
Good to see you. Happy Friday. I just want to say to all the Voltrons, my apologies that we were late today. It's all on me. Today is the first day after school. Yesterday was the last day of school here for my kids. And, we need to get into our summer groove. I'll tell you that much. They're all in the house. I don't think they're used to seeing me work because I'm always done by the time they get home. And so we're going to have to figure this out for sure. So my apologies. That's why I'm still in my hoodie. It's just been a mad show over here in the Ellison household this morning. So, but I do think we have a good show coming up. So hopefully it's worth the wait.
Certainly. You got a bunch of seasons of life. I get it. I was going to play poker face over here. But you went ahead and made it clear because I was catching strays in the chat.
I bet you were. I haven't seen the chat, but they often blame you, which is hilarious to me. But no, today is all me and my 4 kids. We will get this thing figured out, I promise.
Off we go. It's all good. Happy summer to everybody in the Ellison household. And Yo-Jitsu and Park Heights Profit, thank you guys both for starting us off with a bang. Multiple bangs. It's awesome. And look at this, too. Not a Fans dropping in an orange super chat. We'll get to them in just a bit. We appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much for the generosity on this Friday. And perhaps the Ravens news that you were waiting to hear and see came down yesterday. Now, you mentioned towards the end of yesterday's show that there was an really the live chat mentioned it, and then you went and found the article on ESPN that Malachi Starks had indeed signed his rookie contract, but we hadn't seen anything officially put out by the team. That changed yesterday, not long after we were finishing up. Malachi Starks is indeed officially a Baltimore Raven. So Mike Green, in terms of the rookie class, remains the only unsigned draft pick. Not abnormal. There's clearly some negotiating going on. You would think.
A bunch of second rounders are unsigned. A bunch of second rounders. Yes.
Meaning around the league.
Go ahead.
You referring to around the league second rounders?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So in terms of Malachi's numbers, though, we've seen some questions from you in terms of this breakdown. Brian McFarland, of course, always on top of it. It's a fully guaranteed 4-year, $16 million and change contract. It includes over $8 million signing in a signing bonus, and the deal includes the standard 5th-year option for all first-round picks. And Brian even includes his 2025 cap number, which is just over $3 million. So, Sarah, the draft class is just about intact. Obviously, they're waiting on Mike Green, but this is kind of the funny part of this is you see the views. Right, for just a signing post has almost 1 million views for a signing post.
Right,
for a rookie, which is pretty much this. It's a foregone conclusion for the most part, unless I guess you're Shamar Stewart, who seems to be obviously that's happening right now in Cincinnati. But why does it have 1 million views? Well, yes, there's an excitement level about Malachi Starks officially going pen to paper, but Marlon Humphrey's tweet, Sarah, is the reason why it blew it up. His quote tweet, as you see here on the screen, reads, "Contract wasn't signed, but still practicing," and gives a little golf clap emoji, right, for his teammate and fellow member of the secondary, Malachi Starks. Well, that thing blew up. And Sarah, this actually came down when I was live on my personal channel yesterday afternoon. And so I didn't have a chance to process it. But as I was processing it via screen share, literally in real time with the rest of my audience at the time, I thought to myself, oh, that's interesting. He's just showing Malachi a little bit of love, maybe for his high character. Well, folks online took it in a completely different direction from Cincinnati. And I'll let you get in here to react to his not only clarification, the way the Bengals took this to the moon.
Oh, why are the Bengals upset about this? They're like, this is those classic. And again, when you have a kid, this is classic where a kid does too much because they feel guilty about something. And you're like, I wasn't suspicious of you before, but now I am because you're doing too much right now. And so, like, it is unusual for anybody to play or practice if you haven't signed a contract. The injury ramifications, if you were to get injured and you don't have all that guaranteed money, you don't have your signing bonus, you don't have any of it. Like, and anything can happen. Look what just happened to Ardarius Washington during conditioning. It wasn't even hard-hitting contact football, and he blew out his Achilles. So it is a big deal that he was still playing without being signed, and it's still Mike Green today. And I'm seeing the chat. They're saying, some are saying Mike Green is signed. When they said that yesterday and I Googled it, I found the article. I don't see anything on Mike Green, and the Ravens haven't announced it the way they just did with Malachi Stark. So that's not there. So we still have Mike Green still practicing and unsigned that we're aware of yet. Nothing officially signed yet. Okay. And so it's unusual. But if it's Bengals fans and not Ravens fans sort of ribbing the Bengals, right? Now, if Ravens fans were ribbing the Bengals fans, it's like, okay, they're just having fun. Like, good to get your AFC North. But if you're saying it's Bengals fans that didn't like it, well, he didn't say anything about Shamar Stewart's. So this is a you problem. You're feeling funny about it, not anybody over here.
Marlon, in that same thread, and you're referring to Bengals fans there, just so everybody knows. Marlon Humphrey says, I actually was taking a shot at, okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure I read this correctly because it's a little bit small on my timeline. Hopefully it isn't for you guys. So Marlon Humphrey quote tweets the Malachi Starks official signing post saying, as I mentioned, the contract wasn't signed, but still practicing with a clap emoji, showing his teammate a little bit of love. He then, after you see the onslaught of reaction, says, I actually was taking a shot at agents. Didn't mean no disrespect to the Bengals player y'all talking about, LOL. Doesn't even mention, Sarah, Shamar's specific name. For those of you who've been living under a rock and maybe haven't missed quick hits or a big story right now at this point in the offseason in terms of AFC North storylines, Shamar Stewart has yet to practice, has yet to participate in the offseason program for Cincinnati, and he's the first-round pick for the Bengals, the Texas A&M pass rusher who went 17th overall. So that's kind of the context here. Marlon being Marlon, Sarah, hilariously on X. But then you have the Bengals component of it as well, right, which you've already commented on, which is like, okay, where's the it's almost like selective outrage.
That's what's funny about this is that Marlon will purposely put out tweets that are meant to, like, get a rise out of people. I don't think this was one of them. I think he was trying to compliment his teammate. Like, you're practicing without being signed. Wow. So of all the things that he's tweeted before where he's trying to get a rise out of people, I don't know that he was doing it here, but he certainly got a rise.
What do you got here? A little nugget on Malachi to get back to football.
Yeah, to get back to football. So this is from Connor Orr over at Sports Illustrated, I believe. And he put together 100 bold predictions. And since Malachi just signed and there was this, chatter around Marlon Humphrey, I thought it would be fun to bring in his 43rd bold prediction. I want to get your reaction. 43rd prediction. Malachi Starks will win Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And he says the safety out of Georgia will run up the score with a top 5 interception total in the league and flex his all-around playmaking ability in Baltimore defense that steamrolls opponents finishing 4th in EPA per play, a sizable jump from an 11th place finish last season. Bobby, they don't call it bold predictions for nothing. What do you think of this? Malachi Starks, Defensive Rookie of the Year, a top 5 interception getter across the league. Not just rookies, but across the league.
That's bold and epitomized. Absolutely. I mean, it's lofty. And if I'm a betting man, I'm probably leaning away from this. But if you want to live in a world of optimism, playing alongside number 14, anything can happen. I mean, Kyle Hamilton is that dude. And so the fact that not only Darius Washington's injury has more than opened the door for Malachi, and on top of that, his running mate is a perennial all-pro who's going to get the bag at some point in the near future, you would think, and it will be deserving. Anything's possible. I don't know if I'd be willing to stick my neck out there the way that he did so boldly. But again, it's such a luxury to play alongside the unicorn. And I think because of Kyle's abilities, because of his playmaking, there is going to be a beneficiary of that. And I could see Malachi absolutely being one of those.
It's funny because you said, like, maybe it's possible because he's next to Kyle. And I'm like, well, that didn't help Marcus Williams too much. But maybe it will for Malachi Starks. This is probably too bold for me. I don't know that I can sit here on May 30th and say Malachi Starks is going to be the Defensive Rookie of the Year and a top 5 interception leader. But I'll tell you what, if he were to do that, holy crap, watch out with him and Kyle Hamilton. That would be just scary hours for the rest of the AFC North and the NFL to have essentially the Defensive Rookie of the Year and now a perennial all-pro safety and Lamar Jackson leading things on the offensive side. That would be insane. Not going to predict it. I sure would love it.
Yeah, especially coming off a day where, we went through the majority of sort of news and notes coming off the first press conference of the OTA sessions. And what was the one thing that we highlighted from John Harbaugh about his rookie? It's that he's processing. He's essentially drinking from the fire hose right now. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot on his plate given Darius's absence. And so because of that, yes, he hasn't made a mistake, but he's also not flashing at this point in the process, which I don't think is a reason whatsoever to sound the alarm bell. It's just, okay, let's
actually, that's funny to me that you even bring that up. Like, to me, him saying he hasn't made a mistake, that's good news in May. This is his first week of OTAs with the veterans.
No, I think it's a great thing.
Like, an alarm bell wasn't even in my mind.
Well, from the lack of flashing. I'm just saying, I think it's look, if he's going to be a Defensive Rookie of the Year, he's gonna have to be mistake free and flash.
Yes, but not in his first OTAs ever with the veterans.
Sure. There shouldn't be that expectation over him at all. I'm just saying it's funny to have this prediction now out there, coming off of yesterday's comments from Harbaugh from earlier in the week that we covered. So it just makes this even more bold very early on in the process. He's got a lot more, obviously, opportunity to prove himself over the coming months leading up to camp.
Super Chats or Saquon and Henry?
I was going to say, we talked about a couple other topics prior to Super Chats in the pre-show meeting, but there's already 12 of them, so we better get to them.
Okay.
Goodness.
Let's do it.
So Jiu-Jitsu and Park Heights Profit have already gifted 5 memberships apiece. That brought us to Not a Fan. Sarah, I'll let you take this one. It's an orange banner to kick things off in Super Chats today.
Cute news. His firstborn turns 4 years old today. Please help me wish Winnie, I love that name, a happy birthday, y'all. She was born a Ravens fan, and she loves going to the games. P.S. Anytime the show starts late, it's your fault, Bobby. Sarah can't do no wrong.
Happy birthday, Winnie. I hope you don't turn into as big of a troll as your father is. Thank you, Steve, for the Super Chat.
I off the top told the truth, and it's still coming your way. That's so...
Steve doubles down. I would expect nothing less. We appreciate you, brother. Heather McCubbins and Park Heights Profit each have gifted a channel membership. So 2 new Voltrons. Sarah, brings us to 12 total so far. We are closing in on that 350 number. We began the day at 326. Sod Blitz 34, who's also a channel member, hits us with a super chat and writes, been busy, caught the reruns, meaning the best of short condensed clips that we released Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. So he caught the reruns most of the week after work. Got to say, I love hearing you guys talk about Starks. Want to remind you all that before all. Appreciate you, Sod. Ryan White, Sarah, also a channel member.
Oh, I did the math while you were reading that. It's up to 338.
Love it.
Just wanted to say it. 22 out. Ryan White, Marlon control with the best of them.
Thank you, Ryan. Sod Blitz 34 with another one. There's a couple more, too, that he's dropped in.
Wow.
The mock drafts, when you guys were talking about which ED edge? No.
Yeah, edge. We should get
edge.
it 27. Yeah.
Okay. The mock drafts, when you guys were talking about which edge we should get at 27, there was one Voltron writing SC essays saying we don't need an edge. We need DB help. And no edge in the draft is as good as the kid at Georgia, who would have been a top pick last year. And Sarah had no idea who I was talking about. He then goes on. Sod Blitz said it was long, said it long before Connor Orr. I think he's talking about love for Malachi and that he had Malachi all to begin with. I
didn't know who Malachi Starks was.
I don't know how he dropped you in there. You caught a stray.
If I didn't, he must have said it like early.
Sod, thank you for the super chats. Please decipher in a non-super chat what you mean to summarize this for us for time purposes. Thank you. Park Heights Profit for you.
Oh man. Okay. See, this will be an easier read. Park Heights is like poetic sometimes. He says, "You mean the paper soft? You mean the paper soft Cincinnati fans took offense to something? I'm shocked. Cincy and Buffalo fans, such ringless behavior." Can't wait to belt to arse again. Never fun to play Lamar for Cincinnati.
Never change, PHP. Monica, channel member, super chat. Hey, Monica. Happy Friday, Voltrons, Bobby and Sarah. Sarah, you're a rock star. And Bobby, you and your mom had me laughing on your personal channel on cleaning and throwing out. She's referring to my latest Instagram reel, which...
That was cute.
We're getting my mom into the influencing world, and we're having fun while doing it.
Maybe
we got a lot of projects going on here at 8 Woodridge, but that's just kind of how it goes. And we're trying to find little glimmers of hope, Sarah, in what's going to be a very busy summer.
Do you already have another one more thing, or can we play that for your one more thing?
We could play it, but we got to be careful with the highlight on the back end. I should stop putting music in it because we're going to get in trouble. But it's maybe we can give it a shot if it's low enough. Purple and Black. Thank you, Monica. Purple and Black chiming in.
Love you, Flock fam.
We love you. Thank you, guys. Already 14 super chats, bunch of gifts in the form of channel memberships. Diving in here. Over 1,300 concurrents right now, Tila. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. You know the things that help this show go. Sarah, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so Pro Football Focus yesterday put out their top 10 running back rankings. As we know, Saquon Barkley eclipsed the 2,000-yard mark for the season. And he could have gone for the record, but I think they chose not to. And then Derrick Henry, what was it you said? Was it 1,921?
Correct.
Boom, 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 boom. So Saquon had some really standout moments, including the backwards jump where somebody went right underneath him. He had some pretty insane plays last year, and he went on to win Offensive Player of the Year. Thus, as good as both Derrick and Saquon was, I was slightly surprised to see Derrick number 1 on this list, but they may have changed my mind. So at the back end of this, Bobby, I'm going to have a question for both of us. Okay, so you get to think as I present all this data. You sign each guy at their current age. You get him for 1 year, totally healthy. I want to know which one you're taking.
Okay.
They're at their current ages, coming off their obvious seasons, and they're both guaranteed to be healthy for 17 games plus. Okay. If they go they're healthy as long as you go into the playoffs. Okay. So Derrick Henry, here's what they had to say about Derrick, number 1 on this list. They say, even at 31 years old, King Henry is deserving of this list's number one spot. He led the NFL in PFF rushing grade in 2024 with a 93.5. And he also won PFF's Best Runner Award, which I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. He also boasts PFF's highest PFF rushing grade in a 3-year sample size going back to 2022 with the 94.2. Last season, listen to this, he forced the most missed tackles, 89. That's on him. That's not Lamar Jackson taking attention away from him, even though Lamar did do that a lot. And Derek did that for Lamar too. That's also not the offensive line. That's him forcing the most missed tackles of any running back in the NFL. And then he ripped off the second most runs of 10 yards or more at 53. Saquon was number one in that category. He had 55 runs of 10 yards or more. Okay, they dive a little deeper into some of his numbers. So he finished, let me make sure I got this. Okay, he also tallied, Bobby, the most yards after contact. He forced the most missed tackles, which I already said, and he had the most first down runs. This is it. 1,137 yards of his 1921 were yards after contact. That's well above 50% that his yards came after contact. And they were more than all but 8 running backs recorded overall. Before contact, after contact, or with no contact. So everybody but 8 running backs didn't even have that many yards before contact. Okay, that's how good he was. They said this was nothing new for Henry, who has now thrice earned a 90-plus PFF overall grade in a season. Okay, and then they also pointed out how it wasn't without challenges because he had to adjust to more trap power and pull lead runs in a new offense. The shift didn't phase him at all as he earned that top pass or that rushing grade. So you can see how little he ran traps until he came to the Ravens, how little he ran power until he came to the Ravens, how little he played against a pull lead until he came to the Ravens. And so I was surprised by that. There's so many metrics that say he was the best. Meanwhile, here we go with Saquon Barkley. They say Saquon deserves his kudos too after his record-breaking campaign, becoming just the 9th quarterback or running back ever to eclipse 2,000 rushing yards. But they say, but Barkley fell short of Henry in several underlying facets, including yards after contact per attempt, forced missed tackles per attempt, and PFF's rushing grade. He also ran behind PFF's top-ranked offensive line. That offensive line was stout. So I can see why they put him at number 2. Your reaction to some of these numbers, Derrick Henry being number 1, and who you would sign for 1 year for the Ravens next year, they're both going to, and you get the guarantee that they're both healthy.
Yeah, so it's for the Ravens. It's not just, you're not just singling out each talent, each running back in general who you're going to take to build a team. It's a Raven-centric question.
Either one. Okay. I said Ravens right there, but I was thinking overall, you get one running back for 1 year, and they're both guaranteed to be healthy at their current ages.
Okay. You're not going to go wrong with either one you pick, obviously. I think that's pretty obvious. If there is a knock for each one of these players,
okay,
I have Saquon Barkley's injury history in front of me right now.
Yes.
It dates back to the year that he entered the NFL. Now, the big thing for him during his Giants days, he had a catastrophic ACL tear and was not the same initially following that, much like J.K. Dobbins. Remember J.K. just he had that hitch in his giddy up the year after he was finally ready to go. And then he had to go back in for the scope, right? He just never was the same. Saquon, while he wasn't the same his first season back, has unbelievably transformed himself post ACL into what he did this past year. And you've already You've already eloquently outlined his honors that he earned last year and obviously the numbers that came along with it. So the knock there is, will his injury history at some point in the near future rear its ugly head? The only thing that
the scenario I gave you, remember, is that they both stay healthy.
Correct.
Okay. Just make sure.
But knowing that wear and tear exists.
Okay.
And both of these players, obviously, with the amount of NFL miles that they have under their tires, come forth to this exercise with plenty of wear and tear. But last year, neither one of them showed any signs of slowing down. And so the only knock that I can think of, while Derek had almost an entire lost season a few years ago in Tennessee, the only knock that I can think of is this cliff, this perceived cliff.
Right.
That, again, he's showing no signs of coming up on. And so I think I'd have to go Derek, knowing everything that you just outlined from what he was last year.
Yeah.
Philly had the top-ranked offensive line. Think about if you inserted him as an Eagle last year, how that would have reflected his overall productivity.
Yeah.
He probably would have been in the 2,000 club easily. Hard to compare. But I think I got to go Derek. I'd be content with either one of them. I got to go with the King.
Yeah, it's funny because people talk about how Saquon could have gone for the record right at the end, but they were already in the playoffs, so they didn't really try hard for it. And yet on Derek's side, the Ravens started him very slow. Remember how John Harbaugh was under fire for not running Derrick Henry enough, certainly early in the season. And he was like, well, we didn't bring him here to run him. What did he say? Like 30 times per game or something like that. So I agree with you. These guys are neck and neck. I mean, when you made Derek your decision, I'm sure it's by like a hair, right? If you had asked, what's that?
Less than a hair.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you had asked me yesterday, I may have given the edge to Saquon, but as I dug into these numbers, because I don't get to watch him every week the way I got to watch Derek. So sometimes the grass is greener. But when they pointed out that Saquon had the best offensive line and he didn't have as many forced tackles or yards after contact, then that tells me Derek is the one who gets the edge. Both of these guys would benefit with Lamar Jackson right next to him. And so I'm with you. I give the edge to Derek. I mean, all those yards after contact, and it's not just that. Both guys, here's what's funny, is both guys off the field, they sound like leaders, right? We just did a whole show the other day with Jeb Zrebeck talking about how it was underreported, the professionalism and the accountability that Derrick Henry brought to the Ravens. And I know Saquon's that type of guy too. But yeah, I think when you're doing more on your own without that offensive line and you're getting those yards after contact and you're forcing most tackles, yeah, I gotta give you the edge. And I'm already guaranteed that you're both going to be healthy. So let's ride. Let's go with Derrick Henry.
Man, both players are just
insane,
transcendent players. Yeah. And obviously Saquon has Derek in the age department, right, by a few years. But man, and for their respective organizations that they're now with, having both been on the move, right, this time last year, joining new teams, and overnight what they did for those two teams, they're just an incredible duo. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they just flip this year. Derek retakes the title,
right?
And Saquon comes in second, and they compete down the stretch the way they did last year, up until, like you mentioned, the last 2 weeks or so, when it was clear that Saquon had it in the bank.
And by the way, just to take off some of the parameters I gave, if I'm choosing who's had the better career, obviously up to this point it's Derek. And if I have to sign somebody to a long year deal given their ages, I would probably take Saquon.
You have to.
So, but under those other parameters, I'm taking the King.
Yeah. You got to. Yeah. If you told me that it was, like you said, the health was a guarantee in your exercise, and it was just 1 year.
Yeah.
And so if you were to take that to, 5 years and take the health guarantee out of it, then I think the answer is pretty obvious. And that's no disrespect to the King. For all we know, he might be on a track 5 years from now for us to be having these same conversations. How is he still going?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised? 5 years is a lot. Maybe I would be surprised by 5 years, but If it was
You
2 or
had
3, it
Saquon
wouldn't
by then.
surprise
How
me.
old is Saquon?
He's in his late 20s, I think.
Yes, I think.
He's been around for
He is
a
28.
bit. Yeah.
So I mean, when is
28,
he gonna hit that cliff, you know?
28 versus 31.
Yeah.
So
3 years is an eternity in running back years.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Especially, again, with that wear and tear. And I'm looking at this injury history right now for Saquon. And Derek's had his fair share of bumps and bruises along the way as well. I mean, you got to go back to the 2021 season. Played in just 8 games.
Mm.
Other than that, the dude's been
Durable.
absolutely durable and willing to answer to the war of attrition. It's been an exceptional display of how you treat your body in the middle of a car wreck, play in and play out with the amount of miles under his tires. I mean, this is a guy that has rushed for over 11,000 total yards. He's got over 2,300 carries. He's played in over 100 games, 100 plus touchdowns. I mean, first ballot all over him is written all over him.
Absolutely.
Super chats. And boy, are they feeling generous today. Already 21 and counting. We haven't even gotten to Mina Kimes yet, which we're coming up to in just a second.
There is something about Fridays where people become extra generous and in good moods.
I gotta tell you, I'm feeling great today. Today's a great day. We had a good, solid business pre-show meeting that I've barely even briefed you on.
Oh, I know, because
we had a busy hour prior to the show. So we got hopefully a lot of great things coming down the pike. And I'm fired up about this Friday. Draydog679 checks in with his first of the day and writes, I like Starks, but love Eamon Warry. Remember, he's a South Carolina guy.
Uh-huh.
Let's not forget Mike Mack coaching him. Nonetheless, can't wait to see how they both fare this year. Hashtag Sarah Sunday. So there's been a subtle little change here from his hashtags. I think he's given up on Bobby SC for the moment.
He's got a new agenda.
And now he's coming after you in a good way.
In a great way.
Yeah.
And he was coming after you in a good way, too. He wanted you to live near him. So
certainly. He trolls my arse sometimes, too, though. Chuck Lund has gifted a membership, as has Park Heights Profit for the 3rd time today.
Oof.
So thank you, Chuck. Thank you, PHP. We appreciate you. We'll tally it up in just a bit.
It's 330.
We're coming up on, we're certainly coming up on 350. That sounds right. RNTY1 checking in.
He says, Bobby, Sarah, and Voltrons have an awesome weekend. Oh, with sunglasses. I wish I needed sunglasses today. It's raining again here in Columbus, Ohio.
You do the same. Dreams says, let's be real. Henry was held back in like 4 games.
Yep.
Could have easily had 2,200 yards, in my opinion. I think that's a valid opinion. Mike M and Park Heights Profit have checked in with an additional gift from each of them.
332.
That now brings us to 332 Voltrons here inside the vault. God King Jafai or Jafi Ra Jafira maybe God King Jafira. I'll give you the super chat. I've done the hard work.
Long term, it's Derek FM. Is that for me? He's proven he can do it, even long term. Okay.
Ryan, Sarah, because it's payday. LOL.
Oh, that's why people are generous. It's payday. Okay.
I like that. Purple and Black says Friday beers. Enjoy yourself. P&B.
Are people already drinking at noon on Fridays? Is that a thing?
Purple and Black was dropping in the pre-show with some comments that made me think that maybe he was in like a vacation environment. I couldn't tell.
Oh, okay.
Or he's just boozing at noon. Maybe he's in Europe. If he is, it'd be widely acceptable at 6:00. Not that it's not at 1:00. I don't know what you're up to, P&B, but you let us know what you're up to. Jamal Williams checking in.
Is it my turn?
Yes,
it says, wonder why Marlo doesn't get put into positions to take away opponent's wide receiver 1. I think the coaches are showing us who he is. 2021 Raiders game versus Zay Jones. Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I'll just say this. The Ravens don't have their cornerbacks travel, and that's been true for years. Now, if you, yeah, they like to give their guys their boundaries. Like Brandon Stevens, I think was for him his right boundary, if I remember right, and Nate Wiggins was on the other side, and then Marlon Humphrey is usually, if those two guys are healthy, then he would be the nickel. So, but sometimes he'll still play outside too. But the Ravens, their philosophy has been not to have guys travel.
And you know where they want Marlon. You know where he's at his best. Inside. Steph Easy has become a channel member. That now brings us to 333. So thank you, Steph Easy. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Appreciate you for the Voltron channel membership. And Sarah, payday apparently in the Park Heights profit world. He's got another banner for us. It's yellow, and it's a $10 super chat.
PHP says, I heard there was a Bengals fan in the chat. I guess it makes sense to come see what a real franchise is all about. Fans are, do you mean bums? No, he says buns. Fans are buns. City is buns. Team is buns. Oh, I get what he's saying now. The paper tigers don't roar. They meow.
My man is always on another level. It cracks me up. Purple and black has clarified, and this makes complete sense because it's probably 5 or 6 o'clock there right now with the time change. Purple and black hits us with a €2. So thank you, P&B, for the euros that convert to dollars. And he clarifies, Sarah, he is in Southwest England. Heck yeah. Enjoy it, man. Have a great weekend out there. Do you live there? I'm trying to figure this out because Purple and Black never misses a show, and I'm just wondering if he's visiting.
It might be a dinner live stream for him every day.
He made a comment in the chat that made me think that he might be living there because it was very early on, right before we came live, and he was basically like, I'm trending in this habit of watching the vault from the bar. So maybe he's got like a ritual on certain weekdays or Fridays, or God King let me know that I completely botched this. He says it's pronounced Joffrey Raw. So not Japhira, Joffrey Raw.
God King Joffrey Raw.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Thank you for the super chat clarification. Sarah, what do you have for us on Mina Kimes' commentary?
Yeah, so this was interesting. Because I think there's part there's a lot going on here that I'm gonna have to clarify because people were claiming these stats were incorrect and they actually are. But let's start from the beginning here. With Mina Kimes, she put up a post that was talking about the tush push, so had nothing to do with the topic we're about to have. But what I'm assuming is a Bengals fan says thoughts and then tags Mina Kimes. He says, you're always talking about how Burrow benefits the most from Chase and Higgins, but isn't football an 11-man sport, meaning on each side? I'm confused. He says, who benefits most from their teammates? And then he puts up this graphic, which was created by Joe Goodberry, who is a Bengals fan, and I think he's a Bengals content creator. And a while ago, he made this graphic. He's had Lamar's teammates, Allen's teammates, and Burrow's teammates, and how many All-Pros and Pro Bowlers each guy has had with them. And Lamar doubles the All-Pros and Pro Bowls of Josh Allen. And what is this? A quadruple All-Pros of what Burrow has had, and almost a quadruple of his Pro Bowlers. So Lamar, he's got listed here of 21 All-Pros and 45 Pro Bowlers. Then Allen has had 12 All-Pros and 22 Pro Bowlers. I shouldn't say Pro Bowlers. I should say All-Pros and Pro Bowls, because some of these guys repeat. Okay. And then Burrow's teammates have had 5 All-Pros and 9 Pro Bowls. Okay. Now, before I get to Mina Kimes, I just want to say this. A lot of people were accusing, and I thought they were correct, that Joe Goodberry was using anybody that had a Pro Bowl and played with Lamar but didn't have a Pro Bowl with Lamar. That is actually incorrect. And I'm using Spenny here, Spencer, just because I thought he was correct too. So I was wrong too. So I just want to make sure it's clear. He put 2021 Des Bryant counts the same as 2025 Jamar Chase. This is objectively good analysis, good job, with the clappy emoji basically being sarcastic. And so Goodberry starts noticing everybody's using this graphic because he had used it a while back. He had made it a while back. And he said, this is why these graphics can do more damage when they're out of control. He said, I appreciate the eyes on the final discrepancy, but this was a response, and there was a reason we were comparing All-Pro and Pro Bowl players. He says it didn't count players from previous years before the QB started. We use these awards specifically because of what somebody had asked. And later he explains that they were just comparing overall supporting cast, both on offense, defense, and special teams, and not weapons. Okay. So I went and looked it all up just to make sure the numbers were correct. And it is true that there have been 45 Pro Bowls of teammates from 2019 to 2024 while playing with Lamar. So I have them listed out here. So that is true. The Ravens had 9 Pro Bowlers last year, which was the most in the NFL. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this list in just a minute, because here was Mina Kimes' points. She did not deny that they were miscounting the numbers, because she's correct that the numbers are correct. Okay. He did have 21 All-Pros and 45 Pro Bowls. Okay. So, but what she says here is she responds to Michael, who sent her this graphic, and said, I don't think a system that gives the same level of significance to Jamar Chase and Patrick Ricard, and in parentheses, a great player, is a useful way to evaluate quarterback context. Your thoughts on that, Bobby? Is this a useful way to evaluate quarterback context by going through All Pros and Pro Bowls?
I love it. I love the Mina response. Don't love it for Pat, and she meant no malice by it. But it's essentially saying, look, that her analogy is basically saying, do you guys really think that Jamar Chase being viewed as an All-Pro, and deservedly so, is the same type of value to his team as it is that Patrick Ricard is to Baltimore as an All-Pro at his position at fullback? So right. It's valid. It's a valid way of responding to this. It needs much more context. And we haven't even mentioned the idea of the Lamar effect being a part of this.
Correct. And right. How about a winning effect?
Correct. And so that to me is perhaps the greatest testament to Lamar is that last year, the Derrick Henry conversation went national in large part due to the presence of his running mate. It was the Kobe and Shaq duo and comparison for a reason. And so while it's hard to measure truly how many of these 21 All-Pros and 45 Pro Bowlers were named as such due to Lamar's impact, it's a part of the story, and it's right. Absolutely a part of his overall value, which obviously knows no bounds. So love it from Mina. I think it's a great way of summarizing it up very quickly and in layman's terms.
Yes, I think, yes. Totally agree with what you just said. Great way to put it in layman's terms and quickly to talk about it. Now, the chat is now going off, and I think that they're pointing out some context that I'm about to, because I think it's all valid. Now, before I do that context, let me make something clear. I am not going to be a Bills fan or a Bills content creator that constantly put down people like Cook, their running back, who had well over 1,000 yards, who played well, who didn't get all the touchdowns that he could have had, but they, had Josh Allen running it in, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to start poo-pooing Lamar Jackson's teammates. Let's make that clear. I think Lamar Jackson and his teammates were great, especially during the regular season, and have been since 2019. That being said, I agree with Mina that positional value is important. Okay? Here's the other thing that's important. The point that they want to make, because they go on later, let me just point this out. Goodberry later says, yeah, this was a conversation about franchises and how they're better at stacking talent. I think that the Ravens have a better overall roster than the Bengals. I think that's true. I think Burrow has better weapons. For sure, he has better weapons. But I do think the Ravens have a better overall roster. I also think that the Ravens have consistently had, I mean, I didn't go into the numbers, but I think the Ravens are usually like a top 5 since 2019. I feel like the Ravens have fielded a top 5 roster. Again, that's not weapons. Lamar has not had the best weapons, but he has had a better roster than the Bengals, in my opinion. Okay. So I agree with that part of Goodberry. But then you start digging in more and then you see what he is really trying to say. He's saying, so why don't these teams just admit their teams have more talent? And he says, because if they admit it, then they might come to the realization that if they had Burrow, they'd have a ring by now. No, now that part I don't agree with. That part I don't agree with. And that's why you do need to have this context that I'm about to talk about. First of all, Lamar Jackson finished injured in 2022 and 2021. So what does it matter, the Pro Bowlers that came out that year? Because you can't hold that against him into the playoffs. You certainly can't hold him against him and not getting a ring those 2 years. He finished injured. Burrow has finished injured a few years. Okay. That's number one. Number two, the positional value. Are we going to say that Patrick Ricard is as important as Jamar Chase, as you and Mina have pointed out? Heck no, nobody would. How about Devin Duvernay as a returner? Not as a receiver, but as a returner. How about Tyler Huntley? When he does this matter that he was a Pro Bowler? Are we going to use that against Lamar? How about your long snapper and Morgan Cox? Right? So if you start thinking about it in those terms, and we're talking about Pro Bowls that actually helped Lamar, then you have to take off a good 15 between the years that he's injured, and then you take off 11 for the years that he was injured, and then you got to really look at the positional value of Tyler Huntley and Morgan Cox and Patrick Ricard, maybe Justin Tucker, maybe that matters. We saw what happened, how it hurt the Ravens yesterday when he kept missing, or last year when he kept missing kicks. But that's why all this context is indeed important.
Oh, heck, you can even throw Devin Duvernay into that conversation, not to throw a stray at him, but as primarily a return specialist the year that he was named All-Pro. That's a small sample size. Yeah, I get it. That has a big impact in flipping the field positioning, so on and so forth. And I'm pretty sure the year that he was All-Pro, didn't he take one to the house? Wasn't that the year that he took the Kansas City one to the house? Not sure if memory's serving me on that one, but clearly he was a top-level, top-flight return specialist, but somebody that was a role player offensively. So there has to be an asterisk around that too.
Right. And here's the second point of this all. Or I guess there's two more points. You mentioned it. You're not going to get Pro Bowlers if you're not winning. And the Bengals continually, under the leadership of Joe Burrow, start slow. And they didn't make the playoffs last year. They were barely over 500. You're not going to get It's the same thing with MVP. That's why he didn't win MVP. He played well. He had the stats. But if your stats don't translate to you having a winning record for the majority of the season, you're not going to win MVP. You're not going to get Pro Bowls. You're not going to get all pros. That's how this works, unless you have insane, gaudy statistics like a Jamar Chase that it's well, even though they're losing, of course he's a Pro Bowler, So that's number one. Here's number two. These are regular season awards. You can't take these regular season awards and then apply Lamar not winning a ring. It's the same thing with the MVP. So what they do is they'll say, oh, Lamar's great in the regular season, but he's terrible in the postseason. Okay, they do that. But why don't you talk about all these all pros and these Pro Bowlers and how they're great in the regular season, but then also fall apart in the postseason? Lamar's performances dip in the postseason. Yes, we just went through those stats a couple days ago, even though he's been much better lately. Okay. But if you're going to call out Lamar dipping in the postseason, you have to call out all these Pro Bowlers dipping in the postseason. NFL Live just talked about this again. What is it that the Ravens have to do to go on and win a Super Bowl? Here's what they said, and it is 100% true.
Get over the hump. It was all there for them last year. The Chiefs weren't the same mighty Chiefs offensively they'd been in the past. The Bills were a team that the Ravens absolutely blew out on a Sunday night earlier in the season. And they get to the playoffs, and of course they get that opportunity, and they go to Buffalo. And whereas Lamar Jackson had been flawless the last several months of the season, throws 2 bad picks in the first half. And then Mark Andrews, who's been Mr. Reliable his entire career with Baltimore, drops 2 big passes, including the potential game-leading 2-point conversion at the end. A heartbreaking finish, but that's been too much the norm under Harbaugh over the last few years. So now you've got Lamar Jackson, who was this young, up-and-coming quarterback, now nearing 30, and then the other end of 30 coming with, wait a second, are these the best years of Lamar Jackson and the best team we're going to be able to field based on contracts and salary cap and everything else that happens in this league? Gosh, to me, if I'm the Ravens, I'm looking on paper and I'm saying Eric DeCosta has built the best team of football on paper. Lamar Jackson's been as good as any quarterback in the NFL the past several seasons. And we don't have a Super Bowl appearance to show for it. So you can't control crazy things like L'Jarius Sneed knocking a ball out of Zay Flowers' hands or Mark Andrews dropping passes. Yet at some point, you're not going to get those opportunities every season. You got to capitalize on those moments, and they just haven't the past few years.
And I completely agree. And the reason why they haven't capitalized on those moments is because their best players haven't played at their best in those big moments. You talk about Mark Andrews.
Can we just repeat that again? Their best players, plural, have not played their best in the postseason. That's exactly it. Their best players, plural.
Andrews, Lamar Jackson. You talk about a defense that has been subpar from a passing standpoint the last couple of years. It's really simple, guys. If you look at the teams that have won, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Their offensive line is Saquon Barkley carried today in the postseason. And Jalen Hurts did what he normally does, but their best players showed up. When the Kansas City Chiefs win, Patrick Mahomes shows up and shows out in the postseason. Your best players have to show up at the most crucial times. We often talk about superstars when they're made. They're not made in the regular season. They're made in the postseason. We're watching that right now with the NBA. What's the difference? The big-time players show up in the biggest moments. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and those guys on the offensive side of the football, they have been outstanding during the regular season the last couple of years. They have got to do it when it counts the most. And to be honest, that's the last step. Like, you don't really need to go out and get more weapons, more offensive linemen. Like, you don't need a bunch of stuff. They have everything they need. Sometimes what you have needs to perform at its best on the.
That's it, Bobby. So I agree with Goodberry. Like, Lamar's had, I think, a better roster. Not better weapons, but a better roster than the Bengals have had. That being said, that doesn't mean that like the ring is, or a lack of a ring is Lamar's fault. That is literally everybody. It's not a Lamar problem. It's a Ravens problem. And Lamar obviously is the quarterback, is the face of that. But it's like all these guys. And here we go again. We're going into 2025. Here's Fox Sports. They're ranking the Ravens with a number 8 roster. But look at number 4 for this season. So the expectations better be there. They got him at number 4.
How on earth do they have Cincy at 4?
I'm sure he's thinking of Jamar and Higgins.
How can that be after what the defensive side of the ball did to them last year? But
yeah,
that's peculiar.
But regardless, this is a Ravens problem from coaches to all players. Pick it up in the postseason.
Love it. Super chats?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. Alan Craig became a member. Do you remember where we were numbers-wise?
Weren't we at 332? So would that be 333? Okay.
Alan brings us to 333 Voltrons. Channel membership continues to fly off the chain here. Purple and Black checking in. I'm OG. Oh, that's right. I knew this. Okay. I just needed a reminder. Purple and Black says, I'm OG UK Raven. 2 joined PFF, Stockers, and Gordon.
Oh, okay.
So Purple and Black watching from Southwest England. I knew that. I just needed a refresher. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Not a fan, Sarah, checking in.
So he made a good, this is the point I made earlier. He said, so they counted Snoop's Pro Bowl against Lamar.
Yvette says, still clearly shows how LJ elevates his team.
Mm-hmm.
Mike M has gifted a Voltron channel membership, so we're up to 334 now. We're closing in on that milestone of 350, which was the goal this week. Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, with a super chat.
Says, what's with this leaderboard stuff? I need info. Is he talking about D-Hop yesterday?
What's funny is there's a new feature. I think I saw some live chatter about this yesterday that apparently when you're a Voltron, or you guys got to let us know, maybe when you're in the live chat, you can start to see different little themes, different little leaderboards. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're starting to track the loyalty of channel memberships or the activity.
Wow.
Let us know. We actually have no clue, but I've seen a lot of different comments on this. And as this new feature rolls out, we're literally learning with you guys in real time what channel membership is like and what YouTube actually gives us in terms of the features that come along with it. So Park Heights Prophet with a yellow banner says these two fan bases will devalue and debase their own teams and players to say that Lamar is not as good as their quarterback. They will say their team is arse just to say Lamar has it easy. Nobody cares, work harder. PHP with what? Multiple gifts, multiple super chats so far today?
We've gone over 350, although there's disputes of if we're at 353 or 363. I might need to go back and count.
Have we ever gone over 350?
Wow.
Because of this. Park Heights Prophet with an additional channel membership and an additional 10 because it's payday apparently. And the enigma, the mystery that is Park Heights Prophet continues. The legend of Park Heights Prophet continues. Asmodeus says, I can hang with 10 as well. And Richard matches that 10. We're vaulting over 350. We're north of it right now. We appreciate you guys for your generosity. We love Fridays inside this show, and we love that you guys are so generous to us and others, right? Because now 10 other subscribers have now woken up just a second ago and realized, okay, we now have at least 1 month over the next 30 days of channel membership. And then it's up to you guys if you want to extend that, renew it, or not renew it. Jang Sarah checks in with a yellow banner super chat. That's $9.99 on this Friday.
Keep reading for me, will you? I'm counting these up.
Thank you. Jang writes, hey, Bobby and Sarah, joined late today. Just got off a meeting that should have been an email. I cannot stand those, Jang, especially when you do what we do. I'm going to expand on this for a second while you count. When you do what we do and emails essentially can suffice rather than meetings, like there's only so much time in the day. Sarah's a mother of 4. I'm wearing 1,500 hats for this business. It's impossible to take every single call. And while I'd like to, emails are the way to go if you can do it. There's nothing better than a front-facing, obviously, in-person meeting. I get it. But if it can be done via email, I'm just speaking out loud to some of my sponsors right now. That's all I'm saying. Some of our sponsors. Anyway,
yeah, you are.
Shane goes on to write, hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday. September cannot come soon enough. Thank you, Jang.
Okay, so I'm seeing that we started at 319. Is that what you said at the top of the show?
We started at 326.
Okay, well, this is telling me 319. Okay, if we were at 326, we've gotten 41 while we've been sitting here. So if you're saying 326, and that's 41 onto that, 7, 6, 3, we're at 367.
Hold on. Let's see if I can get an update.
Mine says 319.
Okay, so my current update on analytics, I just went into the back end, is 366.
I was one off then, unless we got one more and they haven't counted because I have 367.
What we're going to do right now.
Woo! We just blew past 350.
You ready for this? We're about to update in real time the live chat because we're going for 400.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Can't you just be happy that we hit the 350?
Now that we're over 360, though, I'm getting a little greedy.
You are getting greedy. We're just very generous. We're at 367.
Can we reach 400 Voltrons on this generous Friday? The link to join right there. We'll let them decide, and we will be more than content either way, to your point.
Content. I'm celebrating 367 here, brother.
Me too. And we are replacing the pinned message. 400.
Oh, you just put it up there. Oh, you replaced it. I see what you mean.
Let's see what happens. Park Heights Profits already. You could just tell his ears he just perked up. Oceans with a super chat.
Ocean says, reason why I hate the Bills is because Allen doesn't get the same level. Oh my gosh, we just got more. The same level of criticism that Lamar does. In fact, the same thing applies for Burrow as well. Here's the thing, though, and here's what's tempting about that. I hear you, Oceans. You need to be upset with analysts, not the quarterbacks. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Sarah, P&B said, take your content mindset and go shove it. P&B, an additional 5 channel memberships. We are closing in all of a sudden on that 400 number. Not 400, not 400. That 400 number. King Lee comes in and says, hey, I'm going to do my part. Here's another gift. So from 367 to 372 to 373, and Park Heights Prophet is now putting on his real fan Dan hat by trying to recruit us and recruit his peers in the live chat.
Oh,
to
crap.
try and
Sherry
get us
just came in.
to 400. Park Heights Prophet says, come on, chat. Bottle for bottle. He throws in an additional super chat.
You can't breathe, bro. You can't breathe.
PHP throws in an additional.
Oh, criminy. We're going to hit it.
On top of that, he throws in an additional 5 channel memberships. Sherry says you can take your content and go to the moon. She's throwing in 10. Mike says I'm going to do my part and throw in 1. And then Park Heights Prophet says, give me a 10 spot.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
we are at 367 here. So it's 5, 6, 7, 12, 22, 23, 33. So 367 plus 33, carry the 1 again. We just hit 400. I was trying to be grateful. I was feeling full of gratitude. I didn't want to put the pressure on. You didn't care. And 3 seconds later, we went from 367 to 400.
You guys call me Bobby Greed anytime you want. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
And we
Let's
just
go.
got more. We blew past 400.
Somebody hit me with a 400. Can we go 400 to 500 on this Friday? Here they come, Sarah. They're flying in. Big O says, here's an additional 5 channel memberships. You get a membership, and you get a membership, and you get a membership. Katie says, what's up, guys? Here's 1. P&B, I think we hit this one already, is 5. You guys are incredible in all.
Wait, did you do Big O?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sarah, Park Heights Prophet just hit us with a number that I don't think we've ever received before. He just threw down a 20 spot.
What?
450 is now in reach.
We're with 20 puts us at 431. What's
Tilly,
happening today?
Tilly, we're closing in on 450. Anybody want 500 around here? Happy Friday, baby. Let's go.
I can't. Oh, Ryan just gave 5 more. We're at 536. 436, I mean. 436. My head's exploding.
Listen, the way that you guys are being generous, when the Vault merch line drops, we can pretty much promise you that we are going to find a way to give back in the form of giveaways.
Yeah.
And they're going to be free giveaways because, 1, we have a deadline. We now have a new deadline of June 25th, which is the day that I mean, Sarah, we need forget a moderator, forget an editor. We need a counter. We need a membership counter.
We're at 441, people.
Yeah, Jang, you're right. Tilly's not happy. I'm screaming down here. Somewhere my mom is cursing me out.
I'm sure your mom is like, shut up. I'm trying to get my work done.
You'll
understand when you explain later, though.
Oh, she'll understand. So Park Heights Prophet has gifted an additional 5.
Right.
Ryan just threw in a gift of 5.
Right.
Of course, PHP, we've never received 20 in one shoot the way that he just did. And I have Horace Taurus wants to do a quick pause on the tallying and see how you're feeling physically.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, I just did the second phase of a I don't even know how many there are, of a tooth implant. It takes 9 to 12 months. And so I just did the second phase where they literally drilled a hole into my jawbone and put in, like, if you saw a light socket, Bobby, and like you're putting in a light bulb on the inside, it's obviously going to receive it. So they put into my jawbone what will eventually receive another part of this implant. And so you can't see it, but my whole jaw right here is super swollen. But I have not, since that dentist appointment, I've not taken a single Tylenol or ibuprofen. When I chew, it definitely hurts. Try to keep it on this side. So thank you for asking, Taurus. But I'm actually doing pretty well. If I haven't had to take Tylenol or anything, I feel like I'm doing pretty well.
Taurus, you're getting back into our good graces. I saw that initial comment way earlier on in the show.
What did he say?
I don't want to
know. I don't want to know.
We'll let him slide for now.
Okay.
You and I will talk post-show. Purple and Black says that was times 2 5s from me. I give, not take. Yeah, so P&B has given 2 5 spots.
So yes. 10.
2 5 spots equaling 10. We'll have to count up. Honestly, what we'll do at the end.
I'm pretty sure we're at 441. I've been counting. No, we're now at 442 with Heather's latest, which we haven't showed up on the screen yet. We're at 442.
What I meant is the top dog gift givers so that everybody knows the final number.
Okay.
You know, obviously PHP is going to be north of that leaderboard, but it'd be nice to just tally it all up.
Where is this leaderboard? Where do I find this?
Definitely, if you guys can show us or tell us what you're seeing on your end and what this new feature is, we would love to know more about that. Okay, so Park Heights Profit hit us with an additional 5. We knew that.
I knew that. Thank you,
God
PHP.
King, I'm sorry?
I said thank you, PHP.
Of course, always. There's like an endless amount of thanks and gratitude to him and everybody. God King Jaffe Raw says, wow, Voltrons, stand the F up.
You're like a singer when you know you're about to belt it out, you get further away from the mic.
Look, I just had a great workout today. I got a pump in. We got a sponsor this morning verbally.
You sure did. Thank you.
It just so happens to be in the world of golf, so I'm jacked up. Yes, I was. Yes, it was a hustle type of thing that came through. There's a lot of things to celebrate right now. Heather McCubbins, to your point, has gifted an additional channel membership, as she did, if memory serves, all the way back at the beginning. So thank you, Heather, for being with us throughout. And Quan, Sarah, with a $9.99 for you.
He says, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to contribute. LOL with his $10 super chat. Thank you, Quan.
That's hysterical. And honestly, just to expand on that, Quan, because we're really getting a lot of outreach these days, whether it be through email or live chat. People want to know, well, how do you join? How do you gift? How do you do this, that, and the other? All you have to do is press the link that we have in the live chat. If you're in the Twitter space, come on over to YouTube because you're not going to see it there. But if you're in the YouTube space, we have a bunch of different ways where you can get to channel membership. Either the join feature button, the link that we have pinned in the comment section, the top of the show notes is that same exact link. All those ways are areas, links to get you to where you need to be. Thanks, Quan. Omega Construct has become our newest channel member. What does that bring us to, partner?
Well, I counted him and then a couple more that have come in. So we're at 445. You just haven't shown the final 2. Yep.
Thank you. And Park Heights Profit with another super chat.
He says, week 1 in Buffalo, I will have to hit $100 member gift pre and post W. Let's go.
Sarah, I'm telling you,
I think the season's going to take, like, here we are in May with like no news today. We're like talking about lists and arguing which quarterbacks are better. And people are generous on May 30th. Imagine week 1. Woo!
Look, I'm having like, some rambunctious type of fun over here, all in good fun. But the umbrella over all of that is just this contagious level of unending, seemingly, generosity from you guys to the show first and foremost, but then to your peers, which I know you and I just endlessly appreciate. So, By the way, I think I have a little bit of context on what we've been trying to uncover here with this new feature in the live chat.
Okay.
So what I'm seeing right now is for example, Purple and Black looks to have in his latest super chat, he has this almost king-like emoji next to his name with the number 2. Okay. Then Not a Fan, who's a channel member and somebody who's a gift giver and never not on the show, it seems. He, in a normal non-super chat comment, also has an emoji that's almost like a king crown type of emoji with the number 3 in it, and it's blue. So again, I don't know what the metrics are here in terms of the list and where you find yourself in the list and how that number 2, number 3, so on and so forth is decided. But that's what I'm seeing when I pulled up the show, as if we were in the middle of the live chat right now. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Clinton Ganaway says, happy Friday, Voltrons and Flock. Let's get ready to enjoy the weekend. Clinton, you do the same, my friend, down there in Oklahoma. Nargo Media has become our newest Voltron. And Ryan, on top of his 5, Sarah, that he gifted, also threw in a $5 super chat.
He said, best hosts and best Ravens community. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I agree. Ravens community is the best in here.
We feel like this growing community is so incredibly fulfilling to be a part of. We truly mean that. Purple and Black says, I blame the beer for all of his gift giving. He's feeling free and easy, Sarah, over across the pond right now. And Not a Fan. I'm with you, Not a Fan on this one, Steve, right?
Says Voltrons are not poor. I'll tell you that much.
Hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. You guys are something. I'm reading the live chat right now in real time, Sarah, to try and figure out if anybody has 2 cents on sort of this whole feature in the live chat, but not seeing anything just yet. So maybe you and I will do a little bit of research and get back to everybody as we learn all about this at the same time that you guys do as well. Well, wow. Should we get to some quick hits?
Yeah, let's get to some quick hits, and then I think one more things. But Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Dolphins have had trade discussions with the Pittsburgh Steelers about their lone Pro Bowl selection last season, tight end Jonnu Smith. I would not like him to come to the AFC North, just an FYI. He says those talks came after Smith expressed an interest in reworking his deal that is scheduled to pay him $4.8 million this season. With Smith seeking a new contract, Miami has sought a trade partner. Last season, Smith set the franchise record for tight end in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Smith's preference, per sources, is to stay in Miami under a reworked deal. Okay, well, he definitely outplayed his contract. So if he wants to stay in Miami, he should probably stay in Miami. Yeah. Bobby, let's give him that wish.
There you have it.
Meanwhile, a couple other more quick hits that are going to come in video form. The Baltimore Sun put out a video of the renovations. We kind of went over some of the sketches of the renovations, but they're currently in the building process. So here's just like a 30-second video of how that's going from the Baltimore Sun.
I think the nice thing about these renovations is the ability to activate the stadium in more dynamic ways. We think this makes the stadium more attractive for third-party events, soccer matches, concerts. But we also have the team store and some opportunities in some of our smaller spaces to bring some of the community activities here.
As you can see in front of this now new first row, we need to still put in 3 rows of seats back. So that's where those seats will be used for.
There you go. He's just showing how you're getting some people who can afford it will have much closer access to the field. So on that one, we went over some of the new club features and the bars they're putting in and all that kind of stuff. So they got to keep people in those seats. That's how they make their money. All sports leagues, they got to keep people in their seats. So Steve Bisciotti and the city, quite frankly, are continue to invest.
Oh, yeah, for sure. How about Q, man?
Yeah, so remember yesterday we saw a couple tweets that Tez Walker kind of stood out during the OTAs open to the media yesterday. Q was talking to Kevin Ostreicher because he was there, and he elaborates on what he saw from Tez Walker.
Tez Walker, Q, got a lot of praise from a lot of different people. How did Tez look? That's really intriguing to me.
Dude looked fast. Dude looked strong. Dude looked really good. He got to get some electrolytes in him because he did have some little cramping issues. on what I think was just, him just running and doing this thing. I think overall, when you look at what Tez brings to the game, it's that explosive speed, very much a contested catch kind of a guy. I mean, it was a corner route in the end zone, and you could see how he's holding off the defender and did really late hands and did a toe touch tap back in the end zone, kind of reminiscent of, although, he was a little bit more wide open against the Giants. But, the DB, I had the roster with me, but I think it might have been either 39 or 37 that was covering him, and he was able to just snatch it, get his feet down, and he looked good.
So you go. Other than needing some electrolytes, Q feels like Tez taking another step.
That's great news. Yeah, it's great news. I just at this point in the early process, you just kind of take it with a grain of salt, I think. But anybody that runs a 4.36 is obviously going to be intriguing, and you've seen those little flashes. He kind of referenced the toe tapper from last year in the Giants game. So it's a crowded room. He's going to be competing for snaps. He's going to be competing really to be active on game days, you would think, given Tylan Wallace, and he's got another rookie out, young player in LaJohntay Wester that's going to be in the back end of that room. You're going to have some undrafted guys that are jockeying for the 5th or 6th or final spot, however many they choose to keep in the wide receiver room. So it's encouraging. Hopefully it continues for Tez's sake.
I just had to put this in. The Ravens Productions put out a video of it's like 3 seconds long, about how the two Zays, Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, who they all referred to as Zay, they started facing each other, but then they put together a little celebration, and they go back to back. And Big Zay, Isaiah Likely, does his normal. We've seen him with a lot of photos where he's got his hands on his hips, but it's more his wrists, and he leans back. And then Zay Flowers likes to fold and then lead forward. So that's the two Zays right there. Bunch of goofballs who catch a lot of passes from Lamar Jackson. Gotta love
Zay times Big Zay.
There you go.
Let's see. We got more super chats that have come in, and then I think we're
going to do one more thing.
Patrons away from one more thing.
Yep.
C King became a new channel member. So congratulations, C King. Welcome to channel memberships. Tally it up.
Wasn't one before?
Kind of surprising.
Shocking. Yeah.
Certainly surprising. D-Rod has gifted one. Appreciate you, D-Rod. You're already a channel member as well. C King also left a super chat as well.
The monarch of the many waters has returned. We've missed you, C King.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a little quiet on the sea front. Park Heights Prophet has gifted an additional channel membership. One of the all-time generous Fridays from PHP date. We appreciate you, my friend. Not a Fan says, Nike Diamond Turf Ravens dropped today, FYI. That's Dion's shoe. Didn't even realize that Dion was dropping a shoe, so thank you, Not a Fan. And Tez Lacey, who's a channel member, drops in.
The crown is for community leaderboard, aka super chat.
Okay. So the crown is based.
Is the crown moving?
What do you mean?
Does the crown move? Like if you're at the top of the leaderboard, do you get a crown?
So based on what I've seen, the crown doesn't change. It's the number that's next to the
number. That's what you had explained. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Tez. And D-Rod checking in again. Let's see. Did you read this one?
Nope.
All right. Is this me?
Sure.
It's based off of engagement in the chat and constantly moving as the stream progresses. Cool fan engagement tool for the channel. Happy Friday. Okay. We're starting to gather here. Yeah. Thanks, D-Rod. Happy Friday, brother. Brian Brown, Sarah's showing some love to PHP because it looks like he was on the receiving end of one of his many, many, many gifts, and he wants to show a little bit of love. Thank you, Brian. And P&B is back for more.
Along with probably 40 other people, maybe more.
Legitimately. And P&B from the bar in Southwest London, still chilling with us.
He says, I got to one leaderboard, loving up Chris in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Chris, what do you have to say for that, Chris? Ryan White gifted a channel membership. And PHP, literally 1 minute ago, is not done yet.
Well,
Job not finished.
He's
Channeling the late, great Mamba. PHP, Ryan White, your latest gift givers in the form of one apiece. Thank you, guys.
I have us at 448. We definitely, I'll even put that out there. I feel like we need to hit 450.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you heard it there from my co-host. We'll call her.
Bobby's like, we're at like 319. He's like, all right, let's go 400. And I'm like, 2 more?
Who wants 500 prior to one more thing? We got one more thing.
I hate asking people for things. I hate it.
Look, you and me both, which is why everybody.
You seem pretty comfortable with it.
Everybody that has ever told me that I should be in sales, and I get it often.
You for sure should be in sales.
I could be good in sales, I think, and I think I could live a fruitful, lucrative career depending on the industry within sales.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. And just yesterday, I watched a guy super respectfully come to my front door, my mother's front door here in upstate New York, and ask her for money, essentially, for whatever company that he was repping. And he did so in a really awkward way. And I felt for him in that moment. You know, I thought to myself, man, that's a guy that's just trying to put food on his table and support himself. And he's got a job that he's got to go ask people for money at their front door, no less, every single day of his life. So all power to all those salespeople out there. Credit to you. It is a difficult field. But
well, we hit 450, by the way, because of PHP and Ryan White of the last couple. We've hit 450.
I'm just going to throw it out there while I have a tremendous amount
of Stop it.
While I have a tremendous amount of gratitude that's flowing right now. It's bursting. We're about to do one more thing. And we also have to add in any more super chats that come up with patrons involved as well.
Yeah.
In other words, we probably have about 10 more minutes of content left.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. And we'll see what happens over the course of the next
few minutes. You can't have it both ways where you're like, I hate asking people for things. Also, can we get another 50 in the first?
Who wants 500? Anybody want that number?
All right. Wait, you have one more thing, right?
Mine is actually.
Wait. I don't want you to go. I just want to know if it's happy because the one I have is kind of sad.
Mine is super happy, and the only thing that I had on my mind was something that I saw in Discord, which is going to be in the form of a shout out of one of our most loyal members on a big milestone.
All right. Let's do that then. Okay, mine is not about me. Erin Andrews. Oh, I've already watched it, so I think the second time I watch it, it won't make me cry live on air here. Erin Andrews, currently Fox sideline reporter. Is that correct? For Fox?
She's with Fox.
Yeah, she's done a lot. She's a powerhouse. One of my favorite. One of my favorite reporters. I think she's great at interviewing people, getting them in seconds after a game to feel comfortable and give great sound bites. I think she's just wonderful. Anyway, she went on a podcast yesterday and spoke about some things that she's been dealing with. And I just want to play it to put prayers and thoughts out there. Here she is explaining what's been going on with her.
Didn't want to do this podcast today, but I've realized throughout my life with everything that I've gone through in adversity, sometimes this is such a great safe space, from my having surgery the week of, having NFL game cervical cancer surgery, to dealing with trials, to my infertility. We got some real news today that our surrogate had miscarried. So I have dealt with this before, but things were going really, really well, and her little heartbeat and her numbers were really good. So much so I even told you guys a couple weeks ago because we thought we had such good news. I think one of the things I'm so sad about is I'm going to have to do a better job with dealing with my feelings with this, because the last time we had such loss, I didn't, and I suffered with it. Been sitting here thinking about Taylor Swift's song, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I'm really good at doing this with a broken heart, but you had said to me, you don't have to do this today. You don't have to. But I think I kind of made a promise to myself that when I was really open with how infertility has been, and our journeys with 2 surrogates, because we did lose, we had lost with our first surrogate. And then luckily with our second one, we had Mac. That I was just going to be honest with people. It's really, really hard. I just said that to one of my girlfriends down there, down in my office when I told her. She's like, God, it's so freaking hard to have a baby. So I decided I would be honest about this. People, you have no idea what they're dealing with. I know my husband's having a difficult time, and I'm going to go home and be with him. And then we're going to throw our little 2-year-old in a pool. And I feel like squeezes are going to feel a little different from him today.
Ooh, so I think that was her own podcast. Cool Down with Erin Andrews. Bobby, that is heart-wrenching. That is heart-wrenching. This is bananas to me. She mentions having cervical cancer and infertility. And she's had one baby with the surrogate. So not only has she dealt with like her own miscarriages, but her surrogate had the miscarriage. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you just want her to catch a break. You want her to catch a break. It's, oh my gosh, I just like, my heart goes out to her. She will definitely be in my prayers. Because every time I had one miscarriage. I've talked about it before. It was at the Ravens facility during the 2016 draft. And I cannot explain to you how emotional that was. I mean, it was crazy emotional. However, I had one, and several months later, I got pregnant again, and I had my 4th. Like when you're trying and trying and trying and you can't, like I have the number of kids that I wanted to have, you know what I mean? And so to have a miscarriage and losing hope that you're going to have the number of kids that you want, like I just pray for her that like she and her husband and their one child that they are blessed to have, that they can be strong together, that they can be strong and keep hope going and find happiness. Cause that was tough for me to listen to, but I wanted to put it out there because I believe in the power of prayer.
I'm glad you did. My mom has often shared with us, I'm the oldest of 4, that she had 2 brutal miscarriages, and you just never forget that feeling of loss. And so not only has Erin dealt with everything that she's mentioned with infertility, cancer, you go all the way back to earlier on in her career when that wacko in a hotel was filming her, right? I mean, it was just a horrible, like she's overcome so much adversity, so much pain. And to your point, she is such a tremendous ambassador for the game of football, for women across all of really for anybody who wants to get into broadcasting.
Yeah.
She is tremendous. She's an extraordinary talent. She's stoic, as you saw right there, which was a very rare, vulnerable moment from her. She's one of my favorites. It was what you said earlier on as well. I just think that she commands the moment. She's everything I hear, she's a tremendous person, and certainly echo your prayer and sentiments. And it's just so darn sad because you can tell that somebody that's dedicated her entire life in a lot of ways to her career, wants that other side of life, and she wants it so badly, and it's being taken away from her, which is just it's excruciating. I would imagine if I were to put myself in her shoes, which is obviously hard to do as a male. It's got to be excruciatingly painful. So not good stuff, but a powerful stuff from you today and your one more thing.
Would you like to follow that with your one more thing?
I think the way to do it is it's a good way to segue into let's get some not that I think there's a lot of positives to come from showing something like that. Mm-hmm. This is just happy though. What we're going to finish off with. I hope that she can be happy one day with a second child. I really do. I mean, yeah. I hope that gift comes to her. Mine is something that I just saw in the Discord. There's not much else that I have in my mind. I mean, there's always things on my mind, but in terms of what I would like to talk about today, it's a really quick one from me, and I will go to the Discord to share exactly that. Evan Burstein is one of our most loyal subscribers there. He's been with us for a long time. I don't think he ever misses a show. He's been a gift giver of late. He's been a super chat donor, and he's a huge Ravens fan. He's a DC-based chef, and as of today, he's got a fiance. So congratulations to Evan. I hope he doesn't mind. I mean, he threw it in the Discord.
Put it in Discord. That's pretty public.
Look at the boy in a nice little backdrop. Where are you at, Evan?
Yeah, where is that? Look at that tree.
beautiful tree and kind of it's like an enclosed environment. Everything's flush green. So congratulations to Evan and his fiance. There's the ring. Okay, Ev.
You know what? One of these days, I'm going to have to tell my engagement story. Not today because we're already over. My one more thing will have to be my engagement story because I kind of teased it. Remember when Charlie Kolar was on? I teased it. I said I thought my husband was breaking up with me, but instead he proposed to me. I got to tell that story someday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
congratulations, Evan. That is awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. It sounds like Mike knows that he's in New Orleans. I think they're buddies. They chat through Discord, which a lot of people do on here, which is awesome. And that just kind of brings me to, wrapping up today, Sarah. Like, not only is the generosity just so overwhelming, but this idea that there's a motivation of, yes, we want to help out the show, and so let's give. But then also, we love the community. And I'm speaking from what I think is the mind of somebody that's gift giving today. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's this general feeling from what I've seen in the chat that people feel the community that we've been able to build through not only their interests, but their involvement, their consistency, their support, so on and so forth. And within that community, friendships have formed. And I think that's a component of some of the generosity that's being displayed, really, not just on Fridays, but for weeks on end now, since we've started this new feature within the channel. So it's incredibly gratifying. I was kind of in, like I said, boisterous mode earlier on, but now that that's kind of subsided, I just want to say just a huge thank you to everyone involved in what we're doing here. It's just so fulfilling, so stimulating, and so motivating moving forward for another season that's really right around the corner. So just some gratitude from my end.
Well, first of all, I'm sitting here looking at the chat while you're talking, and it's like almost all green. It used to be like everybody's names were white.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you get a green. People are like, what's that green about? It's like you have to become a member. And now it's like the opposite. It's like everybody's green because there's so much generosity. And I'll say this, you talking about building the community, I think you're good at that. You're really good at that. Like, I feel like this community is more because of you. Like, because you're so transparent, you're so open, you start the Discord, you're really good at talking to people. I tend to just want to get to the content. I feel like that's all people want. Like, to me, it's like nobody wants to know about me. Like, they just want Ravens content. So I'm more like, let's just get the content out. And then I want to get out quickly so they can move on with their day, because I'm sure they're just at lunch and they want to get back to work and all of that. But you push it the other way, and I'm like astounded by it. I'm astounded by it. So I think the credit goes to the Voltrons and you, quite like honestly, it's them and you. You're good at it.
Well, for the millionth time, I think you need both. I think you need both approaches. And for the millionth time, what I mean by that is it's a partnership. So, here we have it again.
And community. I thought that's what you were going for. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that too. You definitely need both of those. But for again, I just feel like it always comes back to what? It's the partnership. It's the balanced partnership. It's what we each bring to the table. And it's as simple as that. Thank you. Thank you, though, for the love. I think are we caught up on displaying these?
I think there were just two more. There was that one and then one more PHP. There's so many from those two guys that you lose track.
Okay, so yeah. Ryan White and PHP now gets us fully caught up to speed. They've each gifted an additional Voltron channel membership, so that catches up to speed. I think on the way out here. I'm sorry?
452.
Thank you. Which is an amazing number, seeing how today, 2 hours ago, I put in the live chat that our goal starting at 326 was to end the show at 350. You guys decided to say, nah, we're good.
Nah.
Yvette hits us with the super chat on the way out here and says, I told y'all, it's a 1-2 punch. Bang, bang. Dre Dog 679.
Dre Dog says, not true, Sarah. We do want to know about the bout of you. I think you meant two of you. About you. Okay, we do want to know about you. We love y'all. # Sarah Sundays. Well, that's what I'm saying is I'm learning that. Like my whole life I've been working at the Ravens, right? And I wrote late for work and this and that. It's just like put out the content, And because I know I'm in such a hurry, I just want to listen to everything on double time and just get the information and move on. So
Yeah.
it's wild to me. It's like a different world. I appreciate you, Dre Dog. Thank you.
About the both of you, that probably is what that read, by the way. I
Yeah.
would think.
About
Is that
the
what you
both.
said?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Dre Dog. Lewis showing us some love. He's a channel member. Appreciate the $1.99. And another one from What I Say Junior in the $1.99 category, also a channel member. And he says, what I missed with Evan. He's engaged. That's all you missed. And he has no clue that we just shouted him out, by the way. So hopefully
That's all
check
you
this out.
missed.
Yeah, I hope you guys blow up his spot on Discord and be like, yo, Ev, you missed it. And don't say don't mention the shout out. You missed it. But maybe we shouldn't interrupt his engagement. Yeah, never mind. Don't do that.
Well,
Actually,
he can come back after. He doesn't have to
actually,
do
you
it
know what?
right then.
Evan
I
can have
like
a
your
little
idea.
Evan's got a little bit of troll in him. So blow up his spot. Tag the all out heck out of him on Discord, please.
He can mute it if he needs to.
An orange banner partner
Oh,
for you.
wow. Last minute $20 super chat. Thank you for this community. It's helping me through some things in my life. Be blessed and safe, everyone. Eric, you be blessed and be strong. You will get through whatever's going on. Eventually you will.
Yeah, Eric Hill just took my gratitude to a whole new level, because while we have absolutely no clue what it is that he or anyone else in this chat is dealing with, the fact that we can be maybe a small part of that recovery process is an amazing feeling. It really is. It's an amazing feeling. Thank you, Eric, for sharing that. And yeah, we both got you. Everybody's got you in here. Let's get to some patrons here before we actually close. It's almost 2:00. This week's been insane. Bill Justice and Toey Faree, thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you. You guys have given us consistent support through Patreon. We have so many outlets of support, right? This new one since March is channel membership. Patreon's been here really for probably close to 2 years, if not more. And Bill and Toey have been with us in that platform, in that area of support for a long time. So thank you both. Patreon.com/RavensVault podcast is how you can learn more. And you can always email us as well at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. We always mention that we may not get to every single one in terms of responding just because we don't have an intern, but we really try to read every single one that comes in, and goes without saying, we love hearing from you in that forum. So BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. Anything else from you on our way out here?
We had one more super chat come in.
You take it.
Yellow. This is from I See a Playa. Have a good one, team. And this is a $10 super chat. Have a good one, team. Purple heart emoji. ALOFAS.
Let's look it up. Alofas. What is it? What does it mean?
Alofas.
Alofas.
Well, this is
It's
New
a
Zealand
Samoan
money.
word. Oh,
Yeah.
this is dope. Alofa is a Samoan word meaning love, affection, or a form of deep emotional connection.
Oh, cute. And it does say NZ, so I assume that's New Zealand.
That's dope. That is so
Yeah.
dope. Today's
that
been
is
an
cool.
amazing episode.
I know.
You guys are giving us a little bit of
We
everything.
got 2,179 concurrents between both of our Twitter platforms and YouTube.
Man, what an incredible show. I mean, we've just had
Incredible.
there's just been so many twists and turns and things to smile about, and all kinds of content. And I'll leave you with this. I went to a baseball game last night. You guys know I'm in Albany, New York. Joe Bruno Stadium. It's the Houston Astros minor league affiliate. One of them, at least. I can't remember what is it, AAA, AA. I'm not sure. Tri-City Valley Cats is the name of the team. And local high school was playing. We had a good buddy that was the center fielder. And the second I walked into the stadium with my mom, Sarah, one of the longtime broadcasters here in the Albany area, sports broadcasters that I interned with, immediately came up to me and said hello. Older guy, not older, but he's probably in his, I don't know, late 50s, early 60s, somewhere around there. He's an institution in Albany. His name is Roger Weiland. And we were having a conversation about essentially traditional media versus non-traditional media, and the pivot that I made and that we both made really 3 years ago when we launched this show, and I launched my company prior to launching our show. And I could tell that he was very inquisitive. And again, he's been in local television throughout his entire career. He's made a wonderful life for himself. And again, he's very well known in this area. And my lasting impression of the conversation was the older guard, or the traditional guard, is starting to become really, really interested and curious, if they haven't already, in what we're doing, people in our space. And it was just very uplifting to me and almost very satisfying to know that this leap that we took and that I took is really starting to come full circle. And I just kind of walked out of there saying, man, if you would have told me 3 years ago that I'd be doing this, I'd be shocked, for one. But two, I'd also have my doubts. And while those doubts will always exist, because when you're on your own, that's just the life that you live. I've never felt more confident than I do right now, and really on this stretch that we've been on, that we're the future, and we're going in a position where this is working, and it's so much fun along the way. So that's my closing thought for you,
Bobby. We're getting requests to play your Instagram reel real quick with your mom.
Oh, all right.
Just be careful with the song at the end.
Ooh.
And while you're pulling that up, and because I'm watching, I just can't get over that we've had 87 super chats or alerts for the gifts that have been given. I'm like blown away by what's happened here today. I was like, what's this going to happen on game day? Because we didn't have this before. We didn't have all this stuff.
Yeah.
We need to seriously think, while we may not be able to do this daily, we may need to get one person from our chat to be our chat producer that's flashing up. Because there will be super chats that are like $5 and everybody wants it to be seen, but we'll be talking. And maybe there'll be some that's like 20 that we can read and react to. But we might need to have, whether it's Tila or somebody else, that's like flashing the super chats up on the screen while we're still talking, or we'll never get through a show, because we'll have hundreds of super chats.
It's a fantastic problem to have, but I think you're right. There's probably some conversations that need to be had off camera
on game day
prior to the show. Yeah, prior to the show, for sure.
Yeah.
Or else we're going to be on for 5 hours, like you said.
And on those primetime shows, we cannot do that.
Goodness, no, not at all. Yeah, thank you guys. This has been a tremendous show, and what everybody's calling for apparently is my most recent Instagram reel with my mother. For those of you who haven't heard, I'm back in Albany, New York for the summer. This just happens when your family goes through a divorce and whatnot, and you're single and empty nester the way she's been for years. Things add up projects wise around the house. That's what led to me painting the entire thing last summer. And there's some other projects, including decluttering, which is what this video is about, that's on the task for this upcoming summer. So we decided to have a little bit of fun with it, Sarah, along the way. It's up on my Instagram page. You guys know where to find me. And here's what that sounds like. I hope that you can hear it.
In-house projects at
you
my
hear
mother's.
It? Yes.
Okay.
She will not allow me to declutter.
Bobby's solution to everything is throw it out.
Who the hell puts a rug on a back deck?
And now Tilly's dirty paws are going to be all over this clean deck, which then we'll have to power wash it all over again.
I'm telling you right now, this deck has never looked better.
Does anyone else's kid come home and just want to throw everything out? Or is it just mine?
Little does she know, I'm just getting started. All right, guys, so here's the deal. I'm knee deep.
There's the wholesome content we needed. Mother, son. You really don't think rugs should be out there, or was that part of the gimmick?
No, I wanted that thing long gone. Once it rains, it takes days on end because it's not warm up here yet. Once it rains, it takes days on end for it to dry. You can't walk out on the deck without shoes. Even if you do, your shoes get all wet. You're tracking it into the house. It's just, I feel so much more open now.
Yeah.
And while, yes, she's correct that Tilly, who likes to go and roll around in the mud and stuff, yes, it's going to get dirtier, but Tilly won't be here after the summer. She's going to be with me. And
and you make a good point. Like, I have a rug on mine, but we've got the awning over it, and so it doesn't get wet like that.
Yeah.
So now I get it.
There's going to be more.
No, listen, I loved it because A, it's wholesome. B, while you're living there this summer, it lets you and your mom have like a playful back and forth about things that you probably are sort of annoyed about for each other, but you can release it in a playful way. And like, it's just a way for you guys to continue like, a strong relationship. I love that. You said it's not the only one. Great. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Yeah. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot more. And I think we're both leaning into it. And I think she's really enjoyed the response, because there's been plenty of people that have reached out to her and saw it, because we did a collaboration post so that all of her followers could see it as well. Richard's weighing in. Get a straw outdoor mat. That could work.
I love how everybody's talking about rugs now. Some people have rugs in their garage. Some people are saying, no, you can't have it. Other people are like, well, I got one.
Right?
Just,
I love it. It's just instant feedback, like unprompted. We love it. I absolutely love it. Just wait. Like the Bobby Baltimore Instagram page may turn into essentially like traditional influencing at home with my mother coming up over the next 3 months. We'll see what happens. Maybe I get a little endorsement deal out of it. I don't know.
of course, salesman.
We'll have to see. Jang is getting us another super chat here. And she writes, I think your mom is great, Bobby, but I can't stand clutter. Throw the whole house away if needed. Ha, ha, ha. I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
I'm a minimalist, but my husband's on another level. He you were just at my house.
Oh,
There's no clutter.
It's
There's
incredible.
None. Yeah.
I loved everything about it. I mean, I loved it.
Oh, you like the house. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would live in that basement. Actually, I wouldn't live in the basement, but it would be fun.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of fun. I'll just tell you this, and we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. It's 2:06.
She's not here right now, and Dragon Ball Vault just gifted us 5 additional.
Holy cow. 457.
Don't make me say it.
Don't make him say it. We got to go. Don't say 500 because we can't stay for another 30 minutes together. 43.
I couldn't mute myself that time. I'm sorry. Dragon Ball Vault just gifted us an additional 5 channel memberships, so 5 new Voltrons.
Is this like Membership Friday? Is that what we're calling it?
We will reach 500 next week. You guys are incredible.
Yeah.
Just to get out of here because I know she's not here right now. Park Heights says, "Hey Sarah, you're gonna want to have Bobby stay on." That's what he's telling you. PHP says, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and gift 50 plus Voltron memberships throughout the day and an additional 5 on the way out." Sarah, where are we at?
462.
You don't say.
I do say.
You guys are incredible. You're making me want to go nuts down here, but my voice is literally giving out. I'll just continue to tell my story and then we'll leave. Or will we? Thank you, PHP.
Yes,
you're the man. You guys are incredible. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous display, of affection, of support. It's incredible. She's not here right now, so I can just tell this quickly.
I'm telling her whatever you say live.
You can't tell her yet.
Oh, wait. You're right. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I just splurged on a sick gas fire pit with the marble and the glass barrier that goes around it. It's rectangularly shaped. It's 28 by 24 by 24, I think. And she's gonna friggin' love it. You can put your coffee or glass of wine on top of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the perfect shape. I did the measurements, dropped the bag on it. It's coming in next week, and it's gonna be a total surprise. But she wants one because she mentioned it.
Yeah.
And then with the money that I'm no longer paying with rent because all my stuff's in storage, I got some big plans up my sleeve that I'm gonna keep off the air.
Okay.
What we got coming up.
Sorry, I thought you were going to tell a story about the two of you because we were just watching that. So yeah, I'm not going to ruin any surprises.
Appreciate it.
You said that you splurged for it, which is definitely true because you aren't paying rent right now. But I also feel like PHP splurged for it and a few other people in here.
Oh, I was going to say I splurged earlier in the week and now it's
yeah,
okay, it's a wash, I mean, it's
and everybody.
It's incredible. I mean, it's just the gift giving today. Park Heights Profit, just so we're clear, at 12:21, that was his first gift. Yo-Jitsu came in at 11:57 a.m. with 5 and to get us started.
Yeah.
And since then, there's been an onslaught. I mean, look at this. This was the 11:57 a.m. and it's 2:09 right now. This was the first, and we've literally been getting them ever since. Dre Dog says Bobby loves his mommy. Yes, I do. I do love my mother.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. That's right, Dre.
All right,
partner. 500 will have to wait.
We'll get it next week.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It'll have to wait. I'll be all right with it.
You keep looking down just in case.
Time to go. Appreciate you. Thanks for a fantastic week. The month of May comes down. C King gets us on the way out here. He says, Bobby, big stacks up in the building. something like that. Not quite, but maybe one day. I hope she enjoys it. And I will put up what my one more thing once we get it set up will be whatever comes from that. So
Love it.
Richard, Sarah, they're trying. I better close out or else this is hysterical. Thank you guys for a fantastic week, an awesome month of May. I mean, really, we had a tremendous month of May inside the show, in large part due to you guys. So thank you so much for the consistency, the support. Have an awesome weekend. Sarah and I will be back with you on Monday, if not before, for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. And for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Friday show. As always, Voltrons, enjoy your weekend. And thank you so much for spending some time with us here inside the vault. We'll catch up with you on Monday. Later.